We have an anonymous police officer write in a question. And so he says, I watch the debrief, your discussions and your sermons often. Thank you so much. I have heard you say on more than one occasion that racism among police exists. I don't doubt that. As a law enforcement officer myself, when I hear some of your statements in context, it sounds like you think racism and brutalizing civilians is happening on a grand scale. Can you speak more to what you mean when you talk about issues within the police force?
Yeah, so, I thank you for just your question, and thank you for your service. We need great police officers, and I appreciate you. I think that oftentimes, if you're black, if you're white, if you're conservative, or you're liberal, what you hear is what you're afraid I'm saying.
Yes.
And so what I'm saying is there's too many young black men, and that's predominantly what it is, black men being killed by police. Now, I'm not saying it's systemic. I'm not saying it's a grand scale. I'm just saying it's too many. And over COVID, we saw what happened to Aubrey. What was his last name? Ahmaud Aubrey. That was terrible. We saw the little wonderful white woman in downtown Manhattan calling the cops on the nerdiest black dude I've ever seen. Did you see that guy? I mean, my gosh, dude, his little glasses. I was like, please.
Come on.
Bird watcher.
Yeah, bird watcher. Right? Come on. How many aggressive bird watchers are there out there? Is there a rash of crime being concerned?
He was Urkel at his best.
Dude.
Urkel.
So we had that, and then we had, we had that police officer on the neck of George Floyd for George Floyd for almost 9 minutes, which was too long.
8 minutes, 45 seconds.
Yeah, 8 minutes, 45 seconds. And so, I think that's it's true. It's real. Whether we like it or not, it's happening. It's real. Now, does the media fan it, and do they encourage it? Absolutely. But what we need to say is, look, this is a problem. We need better policing. I don't agree with defunding the police. I think we need to fund the police, train the police. Like, AB, have you ever been to Havasu?
No.
So Havasu is it's a river that separates California and Arizona. So like if you're a police officer on the California side, you make like $100,000 a year. You know what you make on the Arizona side? It's like 32,000.
Wow.
I'm like,
wow.
That is not, that's not okay. Like I don't want a man or a woman with a gun making $8 an hour. You know what I'm saying? I want them to be trained. I want them to handle these situations. And I know this guy, you guys, it doesn't say in the question, I know this guy's LAPD. So I have some insiders on LAPD, and I know that you guys are not allowed to do the training, and this is one of the issues that you need to do because of political correctness. These officers need to be in stressful situations. They need to go through stressful training. We need to see what happens to cops in training when they crack. Because, what happens? How do you handle, stressful situation? What do you do when you're a cop? Okay, and AB and I, we get in a fight with our wife. We get in a discussion with our wife. We're mad and we're angry. Now you're a cop and you're going to work. The police officer that put his knee on George Floyd, his wife left him the day later.
Yep.
She filed for divorce. So what I'm saying is this guy is having stress at home. He's having issues that are going on. He also was bouncing at a club. My question is, why is he bouncing at a club? Did he need to make extra money? What's going on? We want to take care of our police officers so that they are not overwhelmed. We help them handle, PTSD. I don't know if you guys have ever had a situation, but AB, I was on the beach in Waikiki and a woman tried to kill me. She stabbed a man in front of me. She stabbed her boyfriend twice in front of me with a pick. And I yelled at her to stop, which then she turned on me and came at me. I'm telling you, when the police arrived and they're trying to take my story, I could not say my name. I could not give them, I couldn't get normal information out. I couldn't tell them where I was staying. It was so just and police officers go into this one situation after another, and they need to be able to process and handle this. And I'm just saying, I think that police officers are not respected. They're not cared for. We need to give them respect. We can't call them pigs and expect them to act like police. So we have to go on that side. But if you're a cop, you work with jerks. Come on. There's bad cops. We need to figure out how to get them out. We need to figure out how to deal with them. We just had a situation that I know of because I'm connected, like AB said, I'm connected locally. I know we had a situation where a police officer did something. It didn't make the press, but did something in a situation. If I told you, you'd be aghast. Now, he lost his job. And he should have. What he did was like, I can't even say what he did because it hasn't come out yet. But it was like when you hear it, you're like, what?
Yeah, right.
And it's because cops are people too. Some cops are going to be racist, just like some doctors, just like some pastors, just like, you know, some accountants, some whatever. There's going to be a certain population that are racist, and we got to get rid of those cops. You can't have police that look at one ethnic group in a certain way. You just can't have that, and you have to deal with that situation. But we can't be an enemy of the police. We have to support. It's the worst job in the world. When we are at our worst,
right.
We need them to be at their best. And I can just tell you, you know, AB, I was an MP in the military, and you roll up on situations where you get angry, you get upset. You know, you watch a person, I don't care what color they are, you watch a person punch his wife, hit his wife, you watch her bleeding, crying, you watch children being terrified. There's something inside you that wants to act. You have to have self-control in that situation. You know, what happened, you know, we look at the situation in a microcosm, this situation, what did the cop just come from? Where did they go? Like, they just moved from and I'm like, we've got to figure out a way. That's why I think we need more police. Like the situation with Jacob Blake.
Yeah. Blake, yeah.
There were three cops on the scene. 2 cops and 1 female. The female is handling, if you look to the side, she's handling another person. Jacob Blake should have been taken down. I know as a cop, there's grass. Do you know why you take people down on grass? They don't get hurt. You take them down on the grass. There's a big problem with tasers. Tasers don't work. Like AB, but my family and I, we were at the Eiffel Tower, dude, in France. The French cops, I don't want to say anything bad about cops, they wear rollerblades. Come on now, that is just wrong.
Right.
And these dudes are tasing this guy. Like my family and I were looking up at the Eiffel Tower. We're all excited. We hear it. And I'm like, what is that? I can smell flesh burning.
Right. Yeah, wow.
It's like 4 cops on rollerblades, not razor blades.
Right. Razor blades, right. Let's hope
And
not.
they're like tasing this guy with like 4 tasers. Yeah. And it ain't working.
No, not going down. No.
So like they've got to come up with another nonviolent, like, you know, come on, AB. Do you like comic books? Like, we need a net. I need a gun that fires a net. I gotta take Jeff down. Jeff's coming at me. I'm gonna shoot my Spider-Man web.
Listen to me. I promise you, a taser would take me down.
Dude.
I'm not that big. Right?
AB, did you get tear gas when you were in the Army or the Marines?
Oh yeah.
Oh
my. Oh yes, sir.
But that affected me. That does not affect some people. So here's what I'm saying: is we've got to look at the means with which we're policing, and we need to give officers every opportunity to not use the gun. Because nothing good happens when you start pulling triggers. And, you know, and here's the thing is, you know, a lot of times we talk about how many times a person's shot. The problem is, man, when your adrenaline starts pumping and you pull that trigger, I can tell you, did you have 3-round bursts in the Army, AB?
Yes.
So do you know why they developed the 3-round burst? Because in Vietnam, the guys would be out of bullets in like 3 seconds. Because when you panic, you just pull.
Going.
And so they developed the 3-round burst, which I hated. I don't know if you liked it, but it goes brr, brr, and it only shoot. And every time you pull the trigger, it's only shooting 3 rounds, because when you panic, and then everybody's out of ammo. And you know, and I wasn't in Vietnam, but this jungle, you can't see what you're shooting at anyway. So they developed that because when people panic, you literally like, it's not uncommon.
Yeah, right.
You're still pulling the trigger when there's no more rounds.
Right. Yeah.
It's a problem, and it's human nature. And so we've got to give police officers training.
Yeah, the right care. Yeah.
We need just like what was the dude that was killed for selling cigarettes in New York City, AB?
Eric Garner.
Eric Garner. That little white guy that jumped on his neck. That is the dumbest technique. He escalated. You need somebody that's de-escalating. You need somebody that's talking. And at the end of the day, cops, you get paid for the shift. Stand there and talk all day long. Yeah. You know, like just talk. Like,
right.
You know, I mean, I'm getting paid.
Right.
So I think that there's got to be training. And so just know this: I am as supportive as the police as I can possibly be. You guys have an enormously stressful job, but we have to deal with what we see. Yeah. And when we see there's a problem, there's clearly a problem. You know, black people feel very, very scared when they get pulled over. That is a reality. I don't have any black friends that are like, I'm not afraid. They're all afraid. So that's a problem. So if I have a black person that's afraid, Now I have a police officer that's uncomfortable,
Yes,
right?
right.
What's
Right.
happening is the emotions are
Exactly.
rising,
Exactly,
and we
man.
have to be able to bring it down. And the way we bring it down is we have an honest conversation.
So good.
And we got to stop talking about defunding police. It's because at the end of the day, sometimes you got to deal with crazy people, and I don't want a social worker, like I want somebody that can handle their business, and you need that, and we don't just like, you don't want me as a cop. You're going to be fine.
Yeah.
Like sometimes you want a dude that can roll up, right, AB? Sometimes you got to have a hardcore cop. So you need those personalities too. You just don't want those guys making the decisions. And that's where a sergeant should have came in with Eric Gardner. Yeah. Somebody should have came in and de-escalated. There was enough cops there. He was not a threat. Yeah. They should have brought it down. Yeah. And I say that as a trained police officer in the military. I am one of you. I understand that. Just like in ministry, AB and I know there are pastors that are unethical, immoral.
Say this.
They should not be in charge of people. I would not allow them to watch my dog, much less pastor a church. Right. And so it's hard to govern that. And so we've got to work with police unions. Police need to be protected, but we also need to deal with bad cops, which is the same problem we have with teachers. I think teachers need unions. They need to be safe. But we all know we have teachers that are like, man, you're drooling right now. Like you're drooling. Right. And we need to get you out. And so we have to be able to deal with that. So thank you for your service. Thank you for what you do. I love you. I appreciate you.
Amen.
I can't imagine how hard it is to be a police officer right now. Amen. But we have to hear our black community. We have to listen to what they're saying. And it's a difficult situation. And I'm somebody who grew up in the ghetto. You grew up in a nice area, right? Mm-hmm. I grew up in the ghetto, man. I saw things where I saw police mistreated and I saw my friends mistreated. And, it's a difficult thing. And we have to deal with it. And, black communities historically have felt brutalized by police. That's just something that they feel. It has happened. It's occurred. And so we need to work together to make this happen. And we don't need to be on your side or on their side. We need to say, let's be on justice's side and let's work together. AB, I am talking too long.
Yeah, it's good though.
Save me from myself. Save me.
You can't make progress if you keep making excuses. And I think
that was good. Oh, okay. You just stole my tweet.
Right.
You just stole the show. You can't make progress if you keep making excuses. That was good. Go ahead. Sorry, I threw you off.
Yeah. Well, I'm from. I gotta say without making people feel offended.
You're good.
Listen. Until we start as a country getting back to respect and authority, until we stop paying ball players $40 billion and pay teachers $4 an hour and put more value into educational system, put more value into our police officers, and stop highlighting, and then stop having the media put out this narrative. I went to a training. The other week, and in this training, there's a training, and in the training, they showed three clips. In the clips, the first clip was these guys banged somebody in there, pulled out, killed 2 black guys. Next training was guy got on a horse, they beat him up, took him down. Next one was a white guy, it put him in the car. And so I said, excuse me, how come the first thing the guys see is 2 white guys killing 2 black guys? Then the second thing they see is 2 white guys beating up a Hispanic guy. And then the third thing they see is a white guy going into a car. That's not what you want to train your officers to see in their training of how to de-escalate stuff. Wow. Because the first thing I see is kill the black guy, beat the Hispanic guy up, and put the white guy in the car. So, but you look at movies, see, the media is pushing the exact same thing. For me, when the guys got shot in LA, the 2 officers got shot, 2 officers got literally like almost assassinated in LA. I'm expecting that to be on CNN, Fox, it's blasted. Silence.
Yeah.
It was on CNN's 3rd page, not the front page, 3rd page. But the minute an African American gets something, it's front page news. Why don't you balance this thing out? I think the cultural narrative of pulling us apart is leading everything. It's leading everything. I'm from the Bronx, and yes, I live in a nice neighborhood. I drive a nice car. Every time a cop come by me, I'm stressed out because
Sorry,
hey,
bro, that's wrong.
But it is wrong.
Yeah.
But again, when the culture has put through movies, through songs, through videos, that this is who I am. You know, I'm 5'11" and I'm 300 pounds. When they run my tags, there's 5 cars coming at me. There's gonna be 5 cars coming to stop because I'm a big dude, and they're nervous because the TV said a black guy can take you out, so don't go there alone. I mean, when guys have that kind of fear, they get stressed out. Well, if you keep pushing that in the media,
images,
I mean, check it out. Every year, you'll see a movie on slavery in cinema. Every doggone year. Why? To keep pushing the whole racism narrative thing. Right. You'll see a movie about a cop, some crazy cop stuff every single year. You can't make a movie about some you know, a good wholesome movie without always playing into the narrative of destruction, of abuse. And so I just think that, you know, until we start getting people, until we start changing the culture and ask the right questions, because if you don't work hard of trying to strategically change the narrative, it's going to stay the same. And right now, the narrative is staying the same. For instance, in Germany, there is no statue of Hitler. There is none. He's not celebrated. But we celebrate racism here in America. Stalin isn't celebrated, but we celebrate things here. Until we change the culture mindset of our country and start having respect again, they're not going to respect the cop. They're not going to respect teachers. Not going to respect clerks. They're not going to respect anybody because you said earlier, we have 47 million kings, presidents. And because we're a country of individual rights, we don't care how I don't care how you feel. It's my right to the highway. Well, we don't have a country that work together unless there's a war. So we make wars. We make race wars. We make cultural wars. We make neighborhood wars. Wars, which is fear, brings people together. So let's make as many little wars we can to make little bitty silos so we can move forward. Versus saying, hey, how about let's get some real truth in this situation? Have an honest dialogue. I mean, when I became the vice president of Southern Baptist Convention, I'm a kid from the Bronx, single mom. I live in a nice neighborhood. I drive a really nice car. I did all the right things, sent my kid to college, did all the right things. But guess what? I got pulled over because my headlights were supposedly dark. Because I'm in a nice neighborhood, in a nice car, and I'm black. That was my reward to become the vice president of the largest white organization on the planet. But the cop didn't care. I was a black man in a nice car going to a nice neighborhood, hit the lights. What are you doing? That's my reward. Like Ali came back from winning in Germany, he gets jacked. We got to change the narrative of our mindset, of our mental mindset. When we do that, we'll progress and stop being the lie. And I think once we get that down packed, and once the church has an honest to talk about how do we view things again. For instance, when the church, I have a friend in North Carolina. I went to his church, and I was the first black guy to preach there in like 50 years.
Wow.
Yeah, exactly. How do you be the first black guy at 50 doggone years?
Yeah. That's
a problem.
Yeah.
This make you laugh. So I'm involved with SBC, and David, this is all about mindset. As I'm trying to rattling off. They had to do a video about raising money, right? So now life was in Nashville. Tennessee is a very, got some blacks there. Okay. They said we couldn't find a black church, so we're going to fly a team to San Diego and film at your church.
What?
No. Right. Yeah. No.
Because again, if you don't create relationships, you can't create power. Relationships is what brings the power. When you email me or Danny Mo, cool, Matt's my friend. Not a problem. Let's make it happen. I know we don't talk every day, whatever, but Matt's cool. He never did me wrong.
Right.
No problem. Let's make it happen.
Right.
Yeah. We have relationship.
I love it.
Constantly have relationship with their communities.
Yes.
People have relationship with their communities. Politicians have relationship with their communities. We get back to community relationships.
Yes.
A lot of stuff will change.
Amen.
And when the church gets back to helping people, respect authority, which is which is the main problem. It's the respect issue.
Yeah.
And we don't want to hear that anymore.
Well,
You know, we all want to have our own sense of, well, I'm the man. Well, you are, but you showed your respect of the people.
Yeah.
And because of that, I think that's the reason why cops aren't respected, teachers aren't respected, the law's not respected, because we've lost a sense of respect and honor in our country. And I think the church has led the way in showing
yes,
the lack of respect.
right.
So I think once we learn to get that back,
Man.
you know, we'll I mean, I like I said, you know, I'm big on respect and you know, Pastor Matt, I call you Matt here. I would never call you that in public.
Mm-hmm.
You would be Pastor Matt,
Right.
Because
That's right.
God called you.
That's right.
To this highest calling.
That's right.
We lay presidents to rest.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
We do that.
Yeah.
Presidents come and go. So you've been there for almost 20 years at that church, pastoring your church to
right.
the crazy number you have now. You've been that leader. You're not just Matt. When your members are sick, they don't want Matt. They want Pastor Matt to show up at the hospital.
Amen.
That's right. That's right.
They want Pastor Matt to bury them. They want
on.
Pastor Matt to marry them.
Come on.
Not, hey, Matt, come here. Oh, no.
No.
When you want to come downtown to the court because you screwed up, you don't want Matt. You want Pastor Matt to show up in a nice shirt and tie to represent you.
Right.
So you don't get jacked up. That's what you want. Because why? Pastor Matt counts and not Matt.
Yes.
Yeah.
We have lost that in the black community. And the reason why blacks still wear a lot of suit and ties, because in our culture, back in slavery, the only guy who could wear a suit and tie was the preacher.
That's right. That's right.
That's it.
That's right.
He was the community leader.
Yeah. That's
And
right.
somehow, as we have decreased our level of authority, our level of essence of who we are, it's shifted out to the entire country.
Yeah.
And therefore, why respect the cop? We don't respect the clergy people. Why respect teachers? We don't respect our spiritual leaders. And when you spiritually you bring things down, the culture follows. I believe.
Yeah.
And because we spiritually
Amen.
let things down, the culture followed our narrative.
Yeah.
That's just, you know, back in the day, the preacher was respected, was in the top 5, being respectful. Now we're down to like 25.
Yeah. They used to call us
Because
reverend.
we have,
Yeah.
exactly. I mean, and again, I'm not trying to come on anybody.
No, you're good.
I just think we've lost our sense of awe
Yeah.
of our calling, sense of awe of who we call to serve. And because of that, we don't get to speak into people's lives anymore because they don't view us as anybody. I'm a normal person, but I'm called by an amazing God to live. Now, granted, are there bad preachers all day long? The bad cops all day long? Are the bad teachers? But the office and profession is very honorable and high.
Should be. Yes, exactly.
We got nonsense, but respect the office.
Yeah.
Amen.
And we've now lost respect offices of authority because we don't want because of the fact we've dumbed them down. And I'm not trying to dumb down offices of positions of authority. And I think we've done a horrible job of respecting those positions because we want to make feel everybody we want everybody feel comfortable. Remember when Obama, President Obama, called somebody Steve? He said, "I'm Senator Steve, sir." I earned the right to be called senator. I've served, you know, and Obama, I'm sorry. Well, you need to call people. Everyone don't want to be called by their first name. You know, there's a sense of they've earned everyone's not given things. You worked hard for it. You suffered. Matt, I guarantee you, you have suffered in 20 years tremendously because you were Pastor Matt Brown.
That's right.
Not Matt Brown, but you were Pastor Matt Brown. You walked your shoes to a hole. You told me one time that you walked, not so many doors, your shoes got holes in it, the bottom of your soles. Because you were Pastor Matt Brown, called by God, not just some guy named Matt Brown who was called from college to leave his political science major and become a preacher.
Yeah.
That person, the preacher person, walked holes in his shoes because of his calling. That should always be respected and not just kicked to the curb. We don't respect our cops. We don't respect our teachers. It's all about biblical respect, and we've lost that sense of honor. I think we need to get it back. Once we get it back in the church, it'll go to the rest of the world.
Amen.
That's just my
See why I like this guy?
Come on.
Yes.